big list of things to get through today. Hey, Kit. And so I just want to, we're going to have to jump right in and get through them. First of all, the general membership meeting is the 24th of this month. So I believe that's next Tuesday. So we have a lot of things that we have to address there. We have an issue list that's been rendered to SurveyMonkey. A link to that will be made available in the Discord sometime today. Also, we will have addresses associated with each of the different options. So members who go through, who want to vote by putting in a dust to the options that they are in favor of, should contact one of the temperance labeled people on Discord to verify the address from which they want to send dust. So we'll have to set that up. But there's also a lot of membership that hasn't gone through a KYC process. We don't want anyone to be disenfranchised, so we're going to have to go through a process whereby we confirm the connection between photo ID and Discord ID and the actual person. So we did that with all of the people who participated in the private sale, and we're going to have to do that with all those who want to be able to vote in this election. Or in this in the membership, the general membership meeting. So we have a couple of different ways that we can go about this, but one that would help us out a lot is if there are people who are okay or comfortable with their photo IDs being seen by other people in the co-op, apart from the co-op directors, the co-op board of directors, then if they could please be willing to join a Zoom channel sort of as a group, then we can, you can simply hold up your photo ID next to your face and we can snap screenshots directly from Zoom, assuming that your camera has a reasonable resolution and fidelity. If there are people who are up for that, if you hear this or just hearing this, ping me or one of the other temperance members on the Zoom channel, and we will we'll get that set up. Since you've had no warning today, I won't do it immediately after this. But for those people who are interested, please consider that option as a way of doing KYC relatively quickly.
Greg, just to let you know that if you do that, there are breakout rooms in Zoom. So when you join, you can also lock the room, and then you can create a breakout room, and that individual could join, in with the breakout room. So there is still a process of that potentially being confidential as well.
Exactly. Very good. Perfect. So we can do that within. We can utilize those features as well. But the idea is to get a bunch of people all in the room all at once. Even better, if you are comfortable with those conditions, everyone can see, everyone else. So that would be, I think that would be ideal from the point of view of communication and bandwidth and developing community and trust and all of those things. So please consider that as an option. Otherwise, we have to go through KYC individually with each member who wants to participate in the membership meeting in an electronic fashion. If you're not going to be there in person, then we have to go through this process. We have to go through this process anyway for you to participate in Discord, which is our principal means of communicating within the membership at this time. So hopefully people understand that. So let me stop for a minute and make sure, check and see if there are any questions about what I just said. Going once, going twice.
Yeah, I have a friend who just joined Discord. Does that mean that he did a phone interview with you guys and he can vote if he's in the Discord?
If he just joined Discord and he got the invite through some means? No, he can't. He has to have gone through the whole membership process, paid the $20, and then we have to go through a KYC to make sure that the membership ID and the Discord ID line up. Unfortunately, it's just not the good. Discord is just simply not secure enough as a platform for us to simply trust.
Right. So I have to look for the member sticker.
The member sticker is the only way. Yeah. So we only mark member stickers on people who've gone through the KYC. Yeah. Good. Great question. Thank you very much, Jacob. Okay. Moving right along. So what we've touched on is people will be receiving a link to the SurveyMonkey list of addresses, and there are requirements for KYC in order to be able to participate in the membership meeting at a level of being able to vote if you're not going to be there in person. Great. So Ian, please.
Yeah, just a correction to that. So on Discord, people who have the member sticker are people who have paid, but not the people who've gone through KYC. If you've been through KYC, there should be like a colon following your Discord name.
Thank you for correcting me on that. I appreciate that. Thanks. Okay. So moving right along, we have some other cool news. Yesterday, I gave a presentation to a new kind of university, Third Horizon University, which is one of an emerging class of universities that has a significant online presence and less of a physical presence, although their plan at some point is to also have physical locations. I've been engaged with Third Horizon University for about a year. It was recommended to me that I engage with one of their principals, one of their founders, Tony Hodgson, who has a notion of cosmic ecology. So I have been attending his sessions, his monthly sessions, for about a year now. And a couple of months ago, I mentioned the work that RChain is doing, and the interest within Third Horizon was enormous. So I gave a presentation to Third Horizon that went over really, really well. People really, there was a lot of engagement. There was so much interest that they had to expand the total number of slots for the presentation. And there were very insightful questions, lots of engagement. And I'm hoping very much that RChain can work with and engage Third Horizon University to as a part of its outreach and connecting with connecting with people at all level, at all stages in their education. But we're particularly interested in reaching out to younger folks and let's be frank, brainwashing them first. So that was quite good. That was also preparation for the talk we'll give at the co-op platform in November on the 10th. Yeah, I think it's the 10th or it's either the 10th or the 11th. You can go to the links there. And we're gearing up to give a nice presentation on Rolang at DevCon. Okay, Jacob, thank you for mentioning that. We'll take care of that presently. All right, so that's part of our outreach effort. Another part of our outreach effort, Ed Eichholt and other RChain Holdings people are down at the Internet Identity Conference. I think Jim Weitzcarver is also there. So quite interested to hear what they bring back from those sessions. Great. Yeah, looking forward to hearing more about the notions of identity. We have been developing some in-house approaches to identity as well, and looking forward to talking about those more at the developers retreat, which is upcoming the 12th through the 17th. I was really pleased. Got an email from Nash this morning that had the whole agenda for the developers retreat laid out, and I'm very excited about the smoothness and the professionalism with which this is coming across. We've also had some really nice movement forward on the development team. I want Meta to be able to talk to that, but I do want to say that I'm very excited. We've got some good folks coming on the team. This past week, I interviewed Aiden Chatav, who has a good background both in category theory and functional programming, and as well as blockchain. So he's going to be, I think for his first project, he'll be pairing up with Joe to get the cost model implementation underway. So Joe's made a significant progress on the specification, so we'll pair Aiden and Joe up to start implementing the cost model, which I think is going to be really helpful for people to understand some of the economics of how the Rolang smart contracting works. Meta, let me turn it over to you if you want to give us an update on development and maybe set up that demo we promised.
Sounds good. Absolutely. So Tim, if you want, while I'm talking, you can get ready for your demo. Let's see, we exited sprint 3. The team put forth a great effort. We came close to meeting our sprint commitment. We also did complete roscala.void, and Tim will be demoing that today for your viewing pleasure. We kicked off roscala.transition, which involves completing out the execution environment, all the transition functions and the opcodes for Roscala. What else have we done? We did some good planning on the developer retreat. Thanks, Greg, for kind of complementing the process on that. We have some very good topics. We're very excited to all kind of come together and gain real clarity on all the fine details about how Mercury is going to come together. So making really fantastic progress on all fronts. Hiring is going extremely well. I anticipate that the developer team is going to be probably doubling in size between now and the end of November. And we definitely need that, judging from the planning I've done so far on the Roscala work. We have a lot of work we need to get done. So we definitely want to pull in some of these timelines as we start estimating the work. The timelines are starting to kind of crystallize, and it's becoming much more clear that we need to really accelerate our hiring program and get these developers on board and integrated into the project so we can start pulling some of these dates in. So great progress being made on all fronts. I'm very pleased with the team. The team took on a very big sprint, this next sprint, so there's a lot of work they're going to be churning out. We've decided that we're going to overcommit a little bit and bite off more than we can chew and see how good a job we do at chewing it. So I'm very excited about this next sprint. So lots of good progress being made.
Yay.
Any questions on that update before I turn it over to Tim for his demo? All right, Tim, you have the floor.
Thanks, Meta.
Mm-hmm.
So for the Roscala Void milestone, it was our goal to read in 4 simple opcodes as bytes from standard in and execute them in our Roscala virtual machine transition function. And these, we choose 4 really simple opcodes, namely push, pop, halt, and unknown. And let me share my screen. So, okay. So I'm going to show you real quick what halt and unknown actually do. So the halt opcode sets the exit flag to true and the exit code to 0. And op unknown does the same, but sets the exit code to 1. So op unknown basically says that there was an during passing there was a byte pattern which is unknown for us for our virtual machine.
In earlier times, this was called the fail fast option.
Okay. And yeah, for this demo, I prepared 2 files, which show these 4 opcodes. Let me show you. Okay, so this is halt.txt, and there you see 3 opcodes encoded as bytes. This is push, this should be pop, and this is halt. And let me also show you the other file. It's basically the same, but the last opcode is an unknown opcode, and this will get parsed to op unknown. And when we are in the dev branch of the RChain repository, you can just go into RChain, get into SBT, and type in assembly to generate a fat jar. The fat jar includes all libraries in our project, and runs also through all the tests we have in place at the moment. And it generates a jar file in the target folder. And this jar file we can actually run on these demo files. And I'm going to demonstrate that. So there we're gonna run the halt, these 3 opcodes on Rosette, and we can see how they are executed, and the program count is increased, and you can actually also see that the exit code is 0 because we halted. And when we do the same with this demo file, where the last one is an unknown opcode, we will see the same. We go through our little program, but the exit code is actually 1. So yeah, that's my little demo. It's maybe not that exciting, but you can see that everything is now in place to get the rest translated. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you, Tim. That was awesome. And no, I really like these sort of short, sweet, bite-sized, digestible demos. That's a really, really good job.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. This is exactly the kind of demonstrable progress that we need to make, and so that, because that way, the community can also go verify that we've done what we said we've done, what we intended to do. So I just want to look back over the last 2 months. What we've had is a demo of the key value store, which was a really excellent demo done by Griff. We had a demo of the comms layer. Another really outstanding demo done by Chris Kirkwood Watts, and then we just had a demo of the beginnings of the rewrite of the virtual machine. And that was all before we actually had funding, except for this last demo. So now we actually have funding, and we are hiring at a pace. So I just really want the community to take in the level of progress that has gone on. It's really stellar. I'm grateful for all the keen-eyed diligence and skepticism provided by Meta and others to make sure that we toe the line. But from my point of view, I'm very, very pleased at the level of progress that we're making here. Okay, so moving right along, we had some very nice work happening on the Casper front. People should be aware that, before I talk about Casper, I did want to mention with respect to community engagement, we've been talking through the process for people to receive the bits, and we sort of made a nice distinction between let's say the master branch and a release candidate branch. And what the thought is that we want it to be possible for people to walk up to a branch that is the record of reference for, yes, Rose Scala takes her first breath, indeed. So we want it to be possible for people to pick up sort of the record of reference for active development. In this context, let's call that master, versus what is considered to be the release, a release candidate branch. And for the release candidate branch, I want to be able to set up a process whereby before there's a merge into the release candidate branch, the community gets a week to review the changes that are proposed. That way anyone can come along and sort of take a gander at the code and the proposed changes and be prepared to make a comment. And then we will have a process, like a time of day, where we go through the review process before we commit those changes. If there's any feedback, incorporate those and then commit the changes. So that on the one hand keeps us true and honest to our intent for radical transparency, but also it serves another purpose, which is both community engagement and community education. So anyone who would like can come along and get as involved as they want in that review process as we start pushing code out to the candidate release branch. I think the team has been more or less. I think pretty much we have agreement behind this. So please, as a community, feel free to give feedback on that. There's one other point I want to make about communications. Kent, in today's Dev Stand-Up, raised a really good point. He pointed out that with respect to if we sort of, all move over to the Discord channel and there's no real public technical channels, then it would have been less likely for him to have engaged in the way he did and then become such a important contributor to the RChain development effort. The plan has been, again, as we transition out of Slack and then clean up the RChain repo, so to set up Gitter channels around the cleaned up RChain repo. So again, we're sort of moving public technical discussion out of Slack and over into Gitter channels around the repo. So I want to just push that out to the community. Again, if there are folks who have other thoughts about how to manage that, we're all ears, but that was our thought with respect to managing public technical communication so that it's in context, it's tied to code, and that helps us as the project grows. We're going to have a wider and wider number of people engaging, and contextualizing that and triaging that just through how they entered the channel is a big help for us. So that was a lot of information. I'm going to stop there and just check in and see if people have any questions. So we got an update from Meta. We got a demo from Timm. We talked about how that demo fits into the roadmap, and then we talked about restructuring some the release process and restructuring some of the communication channels. So that was sort of the range in this section of the Hangout. So just throw it open to see if there are any questions, comments, thoughts from people about all things technical development.
Yeah, I have one question. Is anyone else interested in recording the dev work, or not? I mean, because the only updates we get are Wednesday at this point in the Casper work. So is anyone interested in potentially recording some of that work? Because I know dev work is extremely sensitive.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone back and forth about this. I would love to be able to have some kind of forum or venue where that can happen. I also want people, the dev, to feel free to just talk as they would, and not be worried that they have to present on camera, in a certain way. So I've kind of, for me, I don't have any problems just making it all completely open. But I have had in the past, not necessarily on RChain, but I have had in the past people come to me and say, no, I don't necessarily want to have all of the dev meetings recorded. So that's it's a good question. I can take the temperature in the room. I am hoping that Christian, you could be able to come out to the developers retreat, and then some of that can be recorded for the community.
Right. I would think that eventually, from my perspective, like, it seems now with the funding and now we're hitting the road, but in 6 to 8 months, like, the volume of updates could potentially be higher. So that means you would have to segment community updates from dev work, because you might have like dozens of updates a day or a week that you're going through, and it might be very complex. So I guess right now it's not a problem, but something to start thinking about.
Yeah, agreed. I absolutely agree. Yeah, I know that IPFS kind of hit some of this as well. They had a very, very large community with about 50 active developers, 350 people who were engaged, and about 50 active developers. So I know that they hit these kinds of snags, or not snags, but good challenges. So yeah, we're definitely thinking about this, and I'm open to suggestions from any quarter on how to manage the communication. But at least for this next period, we will be setting up Gitter channels, and so if people want to connect to us in an open public technical forum, that would be the recommended way to do that. We'll be putting less and less attention on Slack as things move forward. Okay, so any other questions about the development stuff that we went through?
Not a question, but I have an idea in regards to the communications for those development updates. It would be nice to have somebody that's like a Joe Denman, who has experience in writing, to condense some of those updates into like a draft of a post that we can use on Medium or something like that as well, to share those types of updates.
Okay,
as well as broad reach.
Cool. That sounds good. Yeah, we can definitely do that. I mean, one thing that I have had on my plate for quite some time is to put together a Medium blog about the development efforts, so that people can also read those. I know that there's a lot of community that uses Medium as a lot of the crypto community uses Medium as a go-to channel for this kind of conversation. So we can definitely we can look at something along those lines. Is that what you're thinking about, Patrick?
Yes, exactly. So there is already a RChain cooperative Medium up and operational right now with some more community related updates. But if we were to run sort of like a series, like a bi-weekly or that gives those updates as a post, that would also help.
Oh, yeah, great, good idea, good idea. I wanted to ask, do we have the subreddit now? Because I know there was discussion of picking up an RChain subreddit. Did we get that underway?
So we don't have subreddit RChain because that was already created back in the day.
Got it.
But I do believe we have RChain_cooperative or RChain_official. I'd have to double check, and we're working on trying to find somebody that can dedicate some time to engaging specifically on that channel as well as a couple other forums.
Great, yeah. So those would be a couple of good places where we could sort of put initial information out, but then direct people to the Gitter channels and other more official channels. Great, that's really good. Good thinking there. So with respect to Casper updates, there's really good work. So we've engaged Danny Ryan to help Vlad kind of clean up his repo and make sure that that's open and available to all who want to peruse that. And then there've been a lot of so that work is already underway. And I'm very, very pleased to see the progress there. I'm also extremely happy. Vlad has started to recognize kind of some additional value to the by proposition approach that I outlined almost a year and a half ago now, and so we're going through how we can extend the utility. For RChain, the biggest utility is that it provides a kind of compression on the transactions. But Vlad has a wider range of uses with respect to being robust against a wider range of failure states. So I'm very excited about those developments as well. Also, people should be aware. I'm not fully ready to disclose all of it, but very soon I'll be putting out some thoughts about essentially the tension that we walk is if all the communications amongst the validators is completely asynchronous, then there's this thing called FLP impossibility. So it'll be impossible. There's always some branch where there's always some branch that they could be wandering around in their conversation in which they never quite come to agreement. And so the way you get around that is you impose some kind of synchrony constraints. And what I've been thinking about is, or you live with or you arrange for the communications to be such that that possibility is vanishingly small. So that's okay, cool. So that's a couple of ways to handle it. What I've been looking at is flipping the whole thing around so that there's a different kind of ceiling. So a participant in the protocol has to pay for the relaxation of synchrony constraints. So that the limit is now an economic limit. So one places a direct connection between the economics and the kind of synchrony constraints that you have to impose in order to around the FLP impossibility result. So I'll have more about that in the next few weeks. But I'm quite excited about where that's leading in terms of, again, making the protocol more efficient and more robust. 1 second, let me step away for a second. Sorry, I was saying goodbye to my wife, who's headed out the door. Okay, so that's the update on Casper. Let me check in with the community, see if there are any questions about that work. Any thoughts or comments there? Yay, silence is golden. Okay, all right. So I think that was the list of things that I wanted to cover in this session. So let me check and see if there's anything else that anyone else wants to talk about. Otherwise, we can yield back almost 20 minutes to the community, which would, for one, would be grateful. So any other topics, burning concerns, issues that people have? Lively group today. This is awesome. Oh, Jacob, were you about to say something? You're off mute.
How many people do we expect to be there in person next week?
I don't know. I really don't have a good feel for it yet. It's going to be at least 20. So that's a start. Also, I should mention that Ed has set up, just to remind people, I think it was mentioned last week, Ed has set up a social event the day before. So my wife, who is an amazing singer, Natasha Natalevna, will be playing with me at the Charles Finkelstein's Castle in Woodinville. So we're very excited. We're also going to be joined by a phenomenal Kurdish drummer, Ahmed Reza, who is just a very sensitive and gifted percussionist. I feel very fortunate to be able to perform with such talented musicians. So I hope people can this is another incentive to come out and be here, be present in person. So that's just a little treat that we've organized for those who want to be here in person for the membership meeting. Great. Is there anything else that we want to get out of today's session before we all go off to getting RChain up and running? Kit.
Yeah, there's one small detail that I'll just post in here. During the member meeting, we talked about the Discord and getting members in, and there are a couple of people who volunteered to help out in terms of whatever is needed. So if we get some sort of organization happening, then we're prepared to jump in on it. That's
fantastic. Yeah, Ian is coordinating that, and I'm running interference for him. So Ian is the guy to go to.
Yeah, just send me a message in Discord.
I also, before I close out, I just want to say that our COO is facing some health challenges. So if everyone sends goodwill to Kenny, that would be much appreciated. He works too hard. he didn't rest enough. And now, you know, we need to insist that he rest and recuperate so we can have him fresh and fully productive for the membership meeting. But if everyone could send Kenny some good wishes, I would be grateful. Okay. All right. I think with that we can sign off. And thanks to everyone who participated. And thanks to, as always, to Christian for the great work in recording this and maintaining and managing the YouTube channel.
Cool. All right, let's rock and roll, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye, guys.